What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Prizepicks video talking about the NFL preseason for Friday, August 23rd. In this one, in the video, we have 4 picks for you guys to consider, so stay tuned to hear all 4 of them. If you guys want more picks, I post more in the private Discord, plus we have 5+ other cappers in there giving out their picks in the private channel, so definitely check it out. You can see some big wins as of late. 25 into 625. We've been going in on WNBA as well. Private Discord member hitting a bunch of slips. And we're excited for the NFL to be back. So get in, lock in for the NFL season. Use code MLB. You'll get 20% off. To get in here, it's less than $1 per day. If we can help you win one $5 3-pick slip in the private Discord, then it's going to pay for the entire month and you're going to make money on it. So get in here for more picks. You guys saw some of the big wins in the Discord. We've been cashing out all summer. Now excited to get back into the NFL. Starting with preseason here. Let's get into these picks. The first ones, it's definitely pretty hard to predict preseason. I think the best that you can do is try to figure out who's going to play and how much they're going to play. So from what I've heard, Trevor Lawrence, mixed results here. Some people say he might play the entire first half. Some people say he might just play a series or 2 or 3. And his pass yards here is at 113. So I'm going to be taking the under with these mixed results that I've seen online. Going to the under on Trevor Lawrence. If he just plays 2 series, it's going to be pretty hard to get to 114 pass yards. Even if he plays 3 series, it would be pretty hard to get to 114. If he plays a half, it's definitely doable, or most of a half. But even if he just plays most of the half, 114, I wouldn't say is guaranteed. And that seems just like a lot for their starters to play. So I'm going to be taking the under on Trevor Lawrence. So what I've seen here on this site called Covers, they say that Trevor Lawrence is expected to play multiple series. So don't exactly know what that means. They still have Mac Jones in there, who should be playing at least all the second half or most of the second half. Then we have this article from Action Network, and they say here Trevor Lawrence could potentially play 2 or 3 drives, and if he only plays 1 series, it's most likely because he led them on a scoring drive in the opening to open the game. So they say 2 to 3, possibly even 1 on Action Network, and then FanDuel, who is obviously a sports book, so I feel like we have to take their information with a grain of salt here. But they say with C.J. Beathard ruled out, it's just Mac Jones and E.J. Perry behind Lawrence. So they also have E.J. Perry here, who they don't mention in the other articles. And then they say Jaguars are expected to give Trevor Lawrence and the starters roughly a half. A tool here that I use for NFL that's really good for NFL, but can be used for MLB, which is pretty good for that. And WNBA, NBA as well is OddJam. You can check them out. They have a free trial with a link down below. But how it works basically is I'll show you the Prizepicks line that compare it to other sports books. So right now for preseason, all we have is Prizepicks and Underdog. But during the regular season, they'll have DraftKings, FanDuel, all of them. It's at 113 on Prizepicks, 110 on Underdog. So we are getting a bit of savings here. You can see that all right here in one place. So do like going to Trevor Lawrence on the under here. You can see like how this works for the regular season. Like they already have regular season lines up, and there's some massive differences here. So OddJam's a great place. If you like Tyreek Hill, you should be playing on Prizepicks because it's at 92.5. Underdog's at 98.5. So big difference here. Tua 257 to 264. These are some major differences that you could find all in one place right here on Prizepicks. Closer to the regular season, they'll have DraftKings FanDuel line. So definitely check them out. The link down below to do a free trial of it. But definitely a great tool that I use all the time for player props. Okay, the next one I'm going to go to is Brian Thomas Jr. under his receiving yards at 31.5. He's somewhat considered a starter here. And again, we don't know how much the starters are going to play. But even at this line, it seems high to me for him to get 32 if he's not one of their main options as a starter. And then just, doesn't play that much with the backups or at all with the backups. Brian Thomas is a deep threat, so if he catches one deep ball like we saw earlier in the preseason, he can hit this. But for the amount of snaps I believe that he's going to get, which is basically all you can hope for in preseason is to try to predict these guys' snaps, especially like yesterday. Dante Pettis was one of my picks, and he didn't even get in the game, so it ended up washing out. And then some other guys just played like a handful of snaps. So with Brian Thomas, a high draft pick, I don't think that they're going to push him out there too much. And unless he catches a deep one, I can't see him hitting this. And I think he's going to have limited opportunities to do so with the Jaguars offense, even if he is rolling with the first team. So I'm going to go to the under on him at 31.5. So yeah, we did see him in one of these preseason games catch a 41-yard pass here, but that was his only catch of the game. Had just 2 targets in the game, so he hasn't been getting a ton of targets, and unless he catches a deep one, like I said here, can't see him hitting it. The other preseason game that he played in, he had 1 catch for 14 yards on just 1 target, so not a ton of targets to go around for him in this preseason. And even if he's playing with the ones, don't know how much that's going to help him out either, because he could be like the 3rd or 4th receiver in the pecking order here for the Jaguars with the starters. The next one, going to Bucky Irving over on his rushing yards. I've liked what we've seen from him so far in the preseason. He's gotten 6 carries in each game, and I believe he's gotten over 22 yards. We can check that on the box score if we look. Back in this game, he got 6 carries for 26 yards against the Jaguars in preseason, led the team in carries. And then in their other preseason game, he got 6 carries again for 28 yards and a touchdown. So has had 2 solid preseason games as far as yards per carry, and I think that he should be in line for the same amount of carries, if not more, in this game. And I'm liking the spot for him. I think a low line compared to the head Sean Tucker at a higher line on Prizepicks. I think he was at 24.5. Yeah, Tucker down here at 24.5. I kind of like them the same. So taking the 3 yards of savings is actually a big percentage of savings here by going to Bucky Irving. Against Miami, should be seeing a lot of their backups and should be able to hit this one. Given 6+ carries again, just like we've seen in the first 2 games. So I am liking him. I think he still needs to prove that he can make this roster here, so I think he's going to have a nice game, and I think they should give him a good amount of work to kind of figure out if it's going to be him or Sean Tucker. For the next one, we're going to Jacob Cowing, under on his receiving yards at 30.5. For Cowing, he is a 4th-round pick this year, and most 4th-round picks will almost guaranteed to make the roster no matter how they play. But for Cowing, he's coming off a really solid preseason performance, and I don't think they need to see much more out of him. I don't think they have to force him the ball. They're also going to use him in the return game, so we could see him return some punts out there and some kick returns and not be involved in the offense as much as he was in the last week. 31 receiving yards, a pretty high number here. In that last game, he saw 5 targets, caught 4 of them for 51 yards, so definitely had a solid game out there. We see that Jacob Cowing, that was actually his debut in that second game. They actually want to use him this season. He's expected to make the team and actually contribute to the team with some of the injuries. They have Ayuk injured. They got Ricky Pearsall, the other rookie, dealing with injuries. So we could possibly not see Ayuk or Pearsall in week 1 of the regular season. So I'm not sure how much they would want to use Cowing in this game also, considering he might have to be like their 3rd or 4th receiver come week 1 if both those guys are out. And they also say he missed a big part of training camp in the first preseason game due to a hamstring injury. I just don't know how much he's going to play in this game. Risk another injury to one of their wide receivers. So for those reasons, going to an under on him. Also, one of the highest receiving yard totals you'll see out of anyone over here. And again, for all these guys, trying to figure out how many snaps they're going to get is a crucial part of preseason. So these are my thoughts on how much these guys are going to play. Taking some unders here, 3 unders and 1 over. I think Bucky Irving should be playing a lot to try to make the team. These other guys, I don't think should be playing a lot. Seems crazy to me that these Jaguars guys would be playing into the second quarter. So mixed reports on them, and then just my thoughts on Bucky Irving and Cowing. So if you guys want more picks on all sports, we're posting WNBA, PGA, MLB. Gonna get into NFL here. Use code MLB to get 20% off. It's less than $1 per day. If we can help you just win one $5 3-pick slip, it's gonna pay for the month and make you profit. So definitely get over here, check it out. We've seen some massive hits over here from private Discord members in the WNBA using our picks. And a couple days ago, had this massive $25 to $625 hit with the MLB. So definitely check it out. It'll be linked down below in the pinned comment. So subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the Discord.